What's up, everybody? Patriot Zero back again. Today, I'm actually doing videos 2 weeks in a row. I'm proud of myself. But anyway, wanted to talk about something real quick. Hopefully, real quick. I was scrolling through my Twitter feed and I saw somebody posted something about how school system was talking about how school systems, so many of them now have cut so many different programs out of schools. Um, things like wood shop, home economics. Um, you know, Even some places they've cut out art classes, music classes, things of that sort. Um, and I think it's sad. I think it's really freaking sad that that sort of thing has happened. Um, but I guess the point I wanted to make, and actually the point they were making in their tweet, was that it's a lot of it has to do with different policies that have been put in place. Liberal policies that have been put in place that have cut these classes out of schools. And where I wanted to go with this was about how nowadays there are so many options other than college, because colleges nowadays are, college universities, got these 4-year schools that cost you thousands and thousands of dollars that lock you into debt for years and years. And it's just, it's such a burden on everyone, really, because, if you end up going into debt to the point where you can't pay it back, now you're filing for bankruptcy, and it just creates this endless loop of debt all the way around. Puts you in such horrible places at times that money is one of the number one contributors to suicide in the United States of America. So again, it's that horrible loop that people find themselves in. But what I was going to talk about was how there's so many options beyond college, especially trade schools. And this is something I've talked about previously in tweets and in other social media, and I truly believe in trade schools. And the fact that our trade industry is actually really hurting right now. Blue collar jobs we pushed our youth into this idea that being blue collar was demeaning, and so that's why now we got all these people in the United States that have these 4-year degrees, even 6-year degrees, and aren't able to find jobs. But that also, you also got to look at what they're studying. I was trying not to go here, but the truth of the matter is a lot of colleges and universities have turned into liberal indoctrination camps, and that's another reason why I don't think we should be sending our kids to colleges and universities anymore. But that's really not the point of this video. The point of this video is talking about trade schools, things like carpentry, things like auto body work, learning how to fix cars and fix motorcycles, just anything that teaches you how to use your hands, and and gives you a sense of achievement when you're done with it. If you've anybody out there that's ever put something together or taken the time to build something knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's not to say that you can't feel a sense of achievement from a white collar job by any means, but when you do something with your hands and it's different, because I've been on both sides of it. I've done types of white collar work, and I've also done types of blue collar work. And there's just this bigger sense of achievement that I personally have gotten from doing blue collar work. And that's why I'm a huge proponent for trade schools and kids going to trade schools after high school as opposed to going to college. And again, our trade industry is really hurting. I mean, if you go online right now and look at the jobs that people are looking for, there are people that are trying to hire for within the trade industries. It's crazy, and the money is good. That's the other thing that's so crazy about it, is the fact that not only the sense of accomplishment you get from working a blue collar trade job, but the money is amazing. I mean, there are plenty of tradesmen that make six figures. And if you're in it long enough and you start your own business, you can be making seven figures in the trade industry. So I don't know why we were pushed away from America, pushed away from trade jobs. It baffles me. I've always been about, I've tried working in an office and it just didn't work for me. Lasted about 2 days, and I needed to be on my feet. I needed to be moving around, and I think a lot of people feel that same way, because anybody who's ever spent long periods of time sitting at a desk know how antsy you can get. And I mean, if you even look at the trend of things right now, as far as we got these new stand-up desks, because people realize that sitting down on your ass for hours and hours at a time and not being able to move around and being locked into one place for hours at a time is really not good for you. Being stagnant is just horrible for you. And I'll admit, I'm guilty of it. I've spent whole weekends just sitting my ass on a couch watching TV. I'm handy, but I'm not the handiest. I've always kind of seen myself as a Renaissance man. I'm not good at any one thing, but I'm able at many things. But my main thing that I just really, really want to stress to people is, don't lock yourself into years and years of debt sending your kids to college. And same for the kids, that if you're funding yourself through school, don't lock yourself into that. There are so many good jobs that if you're willing to put in the time and work, it's worth it. And I just think that we really need to start pushing our kids back towards the trade industry, because again, it is hurting and the money is good and it's there. And I just it won't lock you into years and years of debt. Most of these trade schools are 2 years long. A lot of times and then you might run an apprenticeship for a couple more years before you get the full blown, whatever the case may be, a craftsman, journeyman, that sort of thing. So it is worth it, and it gives you a skill that you will be able to carry throughout your entire life. That is, in my opinion, quite fulfilling. And I will press this for as long as I can, until there's no breath left in my body. Because trade jobs, working with your hands, it can beat up your body. You might not work as long as someone who works in an office, but you know what? You can also, when you get to that point where you're not able to work as hard as you used to be, then you'll be able to look back at yourself in the years that you put into it and say, I really accomplished something there. I really got something done. And I really hope that these words, some people will take this to heart, because again, there are so many benefits to working in the trade industry, and um, you won't be in years and years of debt, because trade schools are generally much cheaper, much cheaper than 4-year colleges. And the thing I didn't really touch on a whole lot was how these a lot of people with these 4 and 6 year degrees aren't really are having trouble finding jobs, because those industries, these white collar, office jobs, are so flooded. So give yourself a chance to succeed in life. If you really want to do something that other people aren't doing, which is why the computer industry and white collar jobs blew up, was because it was something new back in back in the mid 90s to now. Computers and other things of that sort, but it also pulled a lot of people away from the trade industry. People that probably would have gone into trades ended up working in jobs. And if you talk to a lot of those people who may have had different interests, may have been pushing more towards a trade job, a lot of those people, if you talk to them, may tell you they wish they had gone another route, because they're miserable in their jobs, just sitting at a desk all day. They're still paying back, 20 years later, they're still paying back their school loans. So again, I hope this can reach somebody, whether it's a parent or a student. If you're already in school, maybe take a moment to ask yourself, is it worth it to lock myself into all these loans and debt for the next 10, 15, 20 years, or could maybe spend half or even a fourth as much money and get a real trade that'll get you through life and be fulfilling. So hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, give me a quick thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, and I will talk to y'all on the next one.